I'm Selena, and everyone in my school knew me as the head cheerleader. But I saw myself more as a science geek because I loved doing homework with my best friend Sarah after school. But one day...
Well, we can already tell this is going to be an interesting one. Anyway, welcome back to another video, everybody, and yes, we're back with more of this... What can I say? This story animated intrigueness. I don't even have a good word for it anymore. As always, we're looking at the deleted videos of these ones. Anyway, let's get into it. I fell in love with my bully.
Brad came to our table and asked Sarah, "Hey, have you done my homework yet?" Sarah started giggling and said, "Sure, here it is." And Brad said, "Thanks, you're the best."
Oh, okay, so it looks like we got one of those things where, this person only goes up to this person to get their homework done because they're really smart. They may act like that they're in love, blah, blah.
I asked her, "What just happened?" And Sarah told me she'd done Brad's homework because he was so cute and handsome. For some reason, that...
You know what, I doubt that, younger girls would probably do it, but in the senior years, you wouldn't do something like this because it's like... It doesn't matter how good looking a person is, doing someone else's homework for them is like the most painful thing. Because it's like, you got so much to do on your own, why would you do someone else's stuff?
really bothered me. Brad was the biggest jerk in our school, and I knew he was only using my friend Sarah. He wasn't interested in dating her or anything. When he came back to our table the next day and asked Sarah for more homework, I told him to go away. But Sarah said, "No, it's okay. Here's your homework, Brad." Before he could take it, I grabbed it, ripped it into 4 pieces, and poured water over it.
Why? What's the point of that? I know you're trying to stop him from getting free homework from your friend, but it's like, why? Why would you do that? It's such a stupid idea, and it could potentially ruin your relationship with your friend as well as get people to hate you more. It's not worth it. It's pointless. It's stupid.
What happened next was crazy. We were in
What happened next was crazy.
the middle of the cafeteria, and he screamed, "Hey everybody, look! Selena is wet!" And then he took a glass of water and poured it all over me. I was furious, but with everyone staring at me, I was too shy to say or do anything back. A lot of people started laughing. I was so angry I wanted to rip his head off.
Now, I doubt that that'd be something like a boy would do, and I doubt that that'd be how people would react. In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go off at him for doing that, because it's so dumb and stupid.
Find a knife, one of our teachers took us aside and asked what happened. Brad told her I had ripped his homework up, and he just took revenge. Of course, I tried to explain how he was exploiting my friend by making her do his...
What are those animations, though? Just literally the mouth opening up and closing, and then the body, barely changing at all, is actually just getting bigger and smaller and bigger.
homework. But the stupid teacher gave both of us detention. Ugh. Now I had to sit next to this jerk for 2 hours. Literally right next to him. He kept staring at me, and then he said, "We should go on a date. You are pretty cute."
What type of guy would do that? I want to make sense of that. That's why?
I told him, "In your dreams," because everyone in our school knew he was a bad boy. He'd had at least 4 girlfriends in the last 2 years. He was also in a relatively successful band, which meant that he had lots of girls chasing after him. There was no way his charm would work on me after he embarrassed me in front of my whole school. But the next weekend, he came by my house with roses.
That's some dedication, my dude. Dude, that's some pretty good dedication. But first off, how the hell did you find out where she lives? And second off, dude, you've got a lot to make up after the shit you stirred at the start, you know?
It was so cringeworthy. And when I opened the door, my dad was right next to me. It was so embarrassing. And my dad asked Brad, "Who the hell are you?" And Brad responded, "I'm Selena's future boyfriend." And then he laid down the roses and walked away.
Dude, I can't fault him. That's some dedication there. Pretty bold man there. And he's just like, I'm your daughter's future boyfriend. Mic drop, walk away. Perfection.
Oh gosh, there was no way this would work on me. He had even attached a card saying, "I'm sorry for what I've done. I know sometimes I act stupid, but I want to change for you." I threw the roses into the trash, but for some reason, I couldn't get Brad out of my head.
Uh-oh. His dedication's starting to pay off.
I mean, I had to admit that he was somehow cute and charming, even though I knew he was only playing with me. There was no way he wanted a serious relationship. But for the next weeks, he kept on trying, always asking me how I was doing and if I wanted to go out with him. His confidence was kind of attractive. And finally, I gave in and agreed on a date. I thought maybe he'd been a bad boy in the past, but with my help, he could turn into a nice and good guy.
Bad idea. Unless he's 100% sure that this is what he wants. It's probably not going to go her way though.
Yes, stupid me really believed that. Until I received a message one day. All it said was, "He has a kid." What? Who has a kid? Was the person talking about my boyfriend? I tried to call the number and texted back. "What do you mean?" But I never got a response. I didn't want to believe it and asked Brad about it. But he said it was just one of his jealous ex-girlfriends trying to break us up. Wow, that was kinda romantic. I liked the fact that other girls were trying to get him back, but he chose to stay with me.
I don't know what to say. I think it's kind of more of the thing that it could potentially be that factor. He could potentially have a kid, but he potentially might not have one, and it's all for shits and giggles. I mean, this is all for shits and giggles in the first place, because that's why I'm watching this and making sure I record myself doing and do the stupid commentary of. But I digress.
But then he casually mentioned that his ex was still hanging out with him all the time. They were often jamming and making music. I told him I wanted to see her, so he invited me to one of their private jam sessions. I was shocked to see how gorgeous she was, and I was crazy jealous when they jammed and sang together for like an hour. I felt like the third wheel. He told me they'd broken up because they weren't a fit. But I was so insecure afterward that I started stalking my boyfriend whenever I could. I'd borrow my dad's car, wait in front of his house, and follow him wherever he went. And guess what? He went to another girl's house. But not just some random girl. No, he went to my nerdy friend's house. I was shocked. I mean, was she still doing his homework? Why hadn't she told me about it?
Should have seen this coming. Like, come on. Seriously?
I mean, I was his girlfriend, and I was her best friend. Something was wrong. So I went to her house to look through the window, trying to figure out what they were doing. But they were just sitting on the couch watching a movie. It was so strange. I went back home, and when my boyfriend came by, I confronted him. I told him to show me his phone and tell me if he had met any other girls. He gave it to me gladly, but there was no messages or calls to my best friend. The next school day, I went to Sarah and asked her, "Hey, how are you? How was your weekend?"
I think she's being delusional, maybe? Maybe it didn't actually happen, maybe it was more of a thing that she thought it happened. She saw it in her mind, but it didn't actually happen. One of those things?
She said it was pretty boring. Uh-huh, sure. Next, I took her phone. She said, "Hey, give it back!" But I had every right to take it, because she should have told me she was meeting my boyfriend behind my back. Luckily, I knew her password, and there was a chat with someone called Paul, but it was actually my boyfriend. I knew that because it was his number, and in their chat, she had used hearts several times. I asked her why she was meeting my boyfriend behind my back, but she said she was only doing his homework. Of course, I knew she was lying. She wanted to steal my boyfriend from me.
I mean, maybe she's not lying and you're just being a bit delusional, but that's just my thought, you know? This goddamn red background from the video is like so weird on my face.
That day, I broke up with both of them. My boyfriend didn't even care. He just said, "Okay." Now I know that dishonest jerks don't change. He had only pretended to be a good guy to get into bed with me. Fine. Lesson learned.
That's it. Yes, this isn't the original video of it, because the original video I still can't find for the life of me. This is an original version of it though. This is like the version they uploaded in November, but then unlisted when they made the 10-minute version. in late December. They seem to do that a lot. Share My Story seem to re-upload stories they've done in the past, but add a few more stories to it and unlist the original. It's really interesting, that actually. But that's it. That one wasn't as bad as the past few that we've watched, but we've got an interesting one to look at soon, which is going to be where, in a format that I'll explain more when I watch that video later. And I'll also explain how I'm going to be pretty much getting all the deleted ones from this point forwards. Pretty much, I want to start this with saying that they didn't only upload these stories to YouTube. They've put them on other platforms, and because nobody's really noticed that it was on other platforms, they haven't deleted it from those platforms yet. So I'm getting them from there. It does mean the format's a little different to fit with the platform that they've uploaded it to, but still the deleted files. But as I said before, you guys, I can't, no matter how many versions of these original videos I get that they've deleted, I can't re-upload them to YouTube to another channel because of the fact that Share My Story strike those videos down. They don't want them on YouTube aside. They don't want re-uploads on YouTube at all, regardless of if they still have it on their channel or not, because they don't believe that's fair. And you know what? It isn't fair use, so they're completely in their rights to strike it down. But these videos here where I discuss them and react to them kind of thing, they can't take down as easily. So yeah, I guess there's 2 points to that stone. So I don't know if I'll be keeping the entire version of it in this video, considering I've doubled the length of it, more than double the length of the video itself. I think it's fine, it's fair use, definitely. But again, it depends what I do when I'm editing. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like down below, it's always needed. It's always neat getting a good old like, good old comment discussing stuff, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and until next time guys, see ya.